Hinds County. That's the only statement I want to make. Is there a question to me?
No. Thank you very much. And I will say that that I hope is what the county administrators plan on doing, involving the election commissioners as well as the circuit clerk. But as the statute clearly states, that the responsibility of purchasing voting machines for a county is solely the responsibility of the supervisors. And using that particular statute, then I hope that we will continue to move forward, and I hope that we will still involve the election commissioners as well as everyone else that is associated with voting and in the voting process. We will go to Mr. Stokes, and then we'll go ahead and cast a vote from that point. Mr. Stokes.
I just would like to say I really appreciate the fact that you gave me the opportunity to speak. I think there has to be much more research that goes into this, having dealt with this in the past, before any motion is made. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I agree with you in terms of the county administrator. That's part of her responsibility. She must know how to make RFP, associate people who can carry out the RFP procedure, especially with the legal department. But secondly, I think the most important thing is public trust. When it comes to elections in Hinds County, the public trust must be paramount. And right now it's eroded. We need to let the public feel that when there's an election in Hinds County, it's going to be a fair election, it's going to be an open election without problems. And that's what you're not getting in Hinds County. You're getting elections where people are saying that it's not what you know, it's who you know. And we need to erase that. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any additional questions?
I just make a quick comment.
Comment from Mr. Fisher, and then we'll cast a ballot.
Thank goodness for the voter ID factor, so that we can make sure that we have the fair elections as they come up to all of them.
Okay. Mr. Anderson?
We wish to get Maryland Avery.
Maryland Avery. Ms. Avery, would you like to make a comment before we do this?
I just would like to say...
Would you come to the podium, please, and then we'll go ahead and move on from this particular point. We have a rather lengthy agenda, and we appreciate it.
I'm not going to talk.
Oh, no, I was not talking. I was just telling the audience that we appreciate their standing by for us while we go through this.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You are all elected with these machines. You do understand that. We try our best to keep these machines in proper order. Cannibalization was not an issue. What our commissioner doesn't understand is there are two different machines. You can't use the parts in one and the other. The new machine is solid state. Plug and play, if you would have it, for those of you who know. So you can take them out to the sidewalk without worry. But let me say this. These machines have served us well, and I do think we have looked into the scanners extensively. We have that we would like to be able to present as election commissioners. I want to address one other thing, and that is the key and access to the machine room down there. Now, HAVA says, if you read HAVA, and I sat on the HAVA board, so I know this, that you have to have a secure room, limited access. There are counties in the state that only the circuit clerk has the key, no one else. So, I understand that it's like we're hiding something. Our door is open every day. If you have a question about the machine, you can come and we will take care of showing you anything you want to know. And as far as training, we have training. As a matter of fact, on the new machines we trained when we had the scanner training. So I just wanted to address those issues, and I thank you, Mr. Anderson, Supervisor Anderson, for recognizing me, and also the President of the Board.
Okay. Thank you very much. One additional comment, and then we'll vote. Ms. Kaplan.
Supervisor Stokes,
Yes, sir.
after hearing or being provided rather additional information regarding the fact that you don't know how many machines should be purchased and the amount of those machines and whether or not we have sufficient funds to purchase the number of machines needed. I am in favor of purchasing new voting machines, but I think at this time, until we receive additional information, perhaps we can allow staff to work with the commissioners on bringing back to this board all of the necessary information that we need in order to make an informed decision. I'm willing to withdraw my second if you withdraw your motion.
Well, Mr. President and members of this body, I think it's important, now I do with the majority, feel that if we vote and get this behind us, with this behind us, then we can move forward, and the county administrator can handle do what she needs to do, and the legal department can do what she needs to do. I think what has happened, and I'm just coming here, because we've been going over this over and over and over again. It's time to put it to bed. You know, it's time to bury this. Let's vote, let's be through with it, and let's deal with other issues. So I hope we're going to take a vote on it today. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Ms. Campbell, you're going to stick with your motion?
Let me just, if you would mind adding to your motion that we move forward with purchasing machines based upon the amount that we have, less than $1.6 million, and not to exceed that amount.
I have no problem with this.
Okay. It's been moved and properly second. Discussion has taken place. All those in favor?
I have a question now that we've altered the motion, which is to add, it's limited to 1.6 million. What does the net effect of that do with the efforts to buy the machines and get in continuity in the event all the machines in the county cost more than 1.6 million? I'd like to address that to Ms. Cochran, since she represents me in the 4th district. I'll start with her.
Well, I think what the supervisor is saying is that we have 1.6 million established today. And if the county administrator feel that once they get the bottom numbers, that if we need more, then they'll bring the million to us. But she don't want to exceed what we have, that 1.6 million. And that's just the working framework that we have.
Another understanding that we need, and that is the habit funds that we have. Do those funds cover any other
Expenditures?
yes, such as maintenance
Yes.
and travel and what have you? So we actually need a good dollar amount that we could use in determining how much is to be spent on the new voting machine.
In answering Supervisor Fisher, there is no way that you can know how much a voting system is going to cost until you know which system you're going to use, how many machines per voter, per precinct, the cost of delivery. If you go with precinct scanners, you're looking at astronomical transportation charges for each election. You're looking for more storage. The cost of printing the ballots alone is astronomical. You can't do anything, you cannot move forward without knowing which system you're going to use. There are not new systems out there, so it's visiting what is available at this point. But until you know what you're dealing with, this is just an expedition exploratory at this point, because you cannot determine how much it's going to cost. I would venture to say at this point, well, I won't, because I don't know what you're looking at. So, to answer your question, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think we've had plenty of full discussion. All those in favor of purchasing new voting machines for Hinds County?
Let's make sure the motion is clear.
Okay. The motion.
We have to make other considerations. We don't want to just go out and spend 1.6 million on voting machines and not have enough funds available to defray the cost of other.
Okay. Let's please restate the motion for Ms. Calhoun. Ms. Martin.
I just want to mention to the board that this is I agree with Commissioner Cochran. This is going to be a somewhat lengthy and involved process.
Right.
And the purpose today was to get permission or authority from the board to move forward with that process, since it will be so involved. So this issue will be brought back to this board many times before an actual purchase takes place.
Correct.
There has to be research done. There has to be the type of machine, as Commissioner Cochran mentioned. The amount of the budget, of course, will be considered. So by this vote today, the board is not voting to actually take a vote. An RFP, a bid process, and all of that has to be done.
That's correct. But what I want to make sure is that we move forward. Would you restate the motion?
It would say it is our intent to purchase new voting machines.
Correct. Greta, if you would go ahead and read the motion, or if you want to get it from Ms. Davis.
Mr. Stokes' motion was to purchase new machines with a caveat added by Ms. Hamilton to amend that to include not spending in excess of $1.6 million of having money available.
Okay.
To include all other necessary expenditures that would be needed. So it is I think it would be more appropriate if this board let the general public know that it is our intent to purchase new voting machines.
Okay. So that is the motion.
So
If
the
you
motion
just
is the intent of the Board of Supervisors
to purchase new voting machines with the existing HAVA money that we have on hand.
maximum up to $1.6 million.
Right. All those in favor of?
But we must include the maintenance costs, transportation costs, all of them.
But the maximum amount of money available is 1.6, and we need to just make sure that we understand that that's all we got.
Okay, I will attempt to restate the motion one more time, or to make sure that we have it. All those in favor of?
Hey, yay.
Opposed to?
No.
Motion passes.
Let me say something here. I'm not opposed to buying voting machines. When the proper sequence and time has come to us and we have something we can actually vote on, this is another motion that is so convoluted and nonsensical. Frankly, I can't make any sense out of it, and I'm just not going to willingly join in, I guess cooperate to graduate with the board on this, simply to say, hey, I'm in favor of voting machines. Everybody's in favor of doing the voting process correctly. The problem is, we have this motion out there now, spending $1.6 million, and we don't even have specs in front of us to know what we're talking about. So this is sort of an exercise in publicity. It's an exercise in camera time, I guess. It's an exercise in getting your name in the paper, a big splashy headline. But we haven't done anything here.
Okay.
We have nothing to vote on, and we will have nothing to vote on.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Stokes, and then we'll let the clerk read the order.
And I know being the new person here in Hinds County is difficult, but we spend a lot of time, and the attorney and the county administrator saying the same thing. You have to say you're going to buy a machine. That's not the final vote. They're going to bring things to us. Everybody in here knows, sitting up here and out there, that Hinds County has a problem with elections. If new machines are changed, then let's do it. And that's all everybody's saying. Let's let them have the authority to do what it takes to get machines for all the election commissions, everybody on the same page. If something wrong with that, then something wrong with me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll just let the clerk read the order. Thank you, Ms. Davis, and then we'll move on from there. Would you read the order, please?
Be resolved to approve the intent of the board to purchase new voting machines. To include not spending in excess of $1.6 million available, including all costs for the purchase of said machines.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate all of the discussion regarding this particular issue. We will continue on with the printed agenda. As we stated earlier, or as we stated last board meeting, there are certain things that have to be done at the beginning of each 4-year term as the Hinds County Board of Supervisors or as supervisors. And one of those particular items that we have to do is to affirm or to reappoint individuals that are working under the Hinds County Board of Supervisors. So in keeping with that particular statute and making sure that we follow the law, then what I would like to do is to now open the floor in alphabetical order for the individuals assigned to or working under the Hinds County Board of Supervisors as it relates to affirmation or reappointment. The floor is now open for the affirmation or reappointment of board attorney.
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved that we affirm the present board attorney, Ms. Crystal Martin. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor of? Opposed to?
No.
Motion passes. Mrs. Martin will remain as our board attorney. Would the clerk please read the order?
Resolved to reaffirm Crystal Martin as board attorney for the Hinds County Board of Supervisors.
Okay, thank you very much. The second individual will be our county attorney, our county administrator. The floor is now open.
So moved.
It has been moved that we reappoint and reaffirm our present county administrator. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor of?
Aye.
Opposed to? Motion passes. Will the clerk please read the order?
Resolved to reaffirm Carmen White Davis as county administrator for the Hinds County Board of Supervisors.
Okay. In keeping with the statute, our third individual on the list will be our road manager or county road manager.
So moved.
It's been moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we maintain or keep our current road manager, Mr. Carl Felix. All those in favor of?
Aye.
Opposed to? Motion passes. Will the clerk please read the order?
Resolved to affirm Carl Felix as the county road manager of the Hinds County Board of Supervisors.
Okay, in keeping with the statute, the fourth individual on the list is the Hinds County Emergency Manager / County Fire Coordinator, Mr. Jimmy Lewis. It's been moved. It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor of? Opposed to?
No.
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 Okay, we have 2 for and 2 against. Motion.
You the other against?
Right.
Sorry.
Okay, we have 2 for and 2 against. Motion fails. Okay. Ms. Calvin is not in. It is absent. Okay. Will the clerk please read the order?
There's no order.
Okay. Would you read the? Okay. Would you enter that into the motion?
The motion was made by Mr. Stokes to reaffirm Jimmy Lewis as Emergency Management Director and Fire Coordinator, and the second was made by Mr. Anderson, with Phil Fisher voting nay, Robert Graham voting nay, and Peggy Hobson Calhoun absent. The motion fails.
Okay. All right. We will continue with our printed agenda, and on our printed agenda, we have one additional item. Well, first of all, I'd like to say congratulations to everyone, and we will continue to move forward from this particular point. We have one additional item on the agenda as it relates to District 1. It's an issue that was brought to me a couple of weeks ago at a neighborhood meeting of about 4 neighborhood associations who would like the Board of Supervisors to issue a resolution opposing the closing of 4 post offices here in the Jackson area. As you know, in the city of Jackson, we have approximately 175,000 people, and we have 8 post offices. Those post offices, it's being recommended that 4 are be closed. One of those is one in North Jackson, the one on Melvin Bender Drive, commonly referred to as Delta Mart, one at Candlestick, and one on Ellis Avenue. And the closing of these post offices will have some unintended consequences. And we looked at the Scott County. Scott County has 20,000 residents, and they also have post offices. And it was very difficult for the neighborhood associations to determine why these post offices were going to be closed. Now, individuals in North Jackson as well as in South Jackson have the opportunity to go to the bank, the post office, the drugstore, and make a complete circle. If these post offices are closed, elderly citizens as well as citizens who live in that particular area will have to travel as many as 10 to 15 miles to go to a post office. So the city of Jackson has asked us, the Board of Supervisors, to mirror what they're doing, and that is offering a resolution opposing the closing of the 4 area post offices here in the Jackson area. And so what we've done is we've prepared a resolution But before we prepare to start read the resolution, I'd like to ask, are there any questions from any board members or any comments or statements that you would like to make as it relates to these post offices? Mr. Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I just want to thank you for your leadership. These post offices are special in the city of Jackson throughout these communities. And, you're talking about a lot of people who will be affected in a negative manner. And I hope by the council passing this resolution, and the city has already passed their resolution, that we can change some minds and some hearts. A post office, for many, is a way of life. And they have them as close to you in your community, especially when you have elderly people going back and forth and the drive and everything else. It's good to have a post office close in your community, close to the citizens who really need to use them. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Any additional comments?
Yes, could you review which 4 post offices we're talking about, please?
So the post office.
I have it here.
Okay, Crystal.
Candlestick Park Post Office, Delta Station Post Office, Melvin Bender Drive Post Office, Westland Post Office, North Jackson Post Office, and Southwest Post Office.
So that's 6.
There's 5.
No.
5. And one
Bender
is...
and Delta Drive, same one.
Right. That's it should be
I'm
4.
sorry. It was
The resolution says 4, but the number should be 5.
correct.
There has been a moratorium placed on these 4, on actually closing the post offices until May, but it is an intent of the United States Postal Service, which we found out a lot about. They really don't answer to anyone. They have 5 commissioners, and they basically, when they make a decision, they make their own decisions. It's basically sort of the same as a private corporation. So we're hoping that by these resolutions going to these 5 commissioners and being sent to the Mississippi delegation, legislative delegation, that it will hopefully get some type of movement in our favor, because a lot of people are going to have to change post office boxes. They're going to have to change stationery. You don't know where they're going to be set to, and the lines are already long at the one downtown. So the motion is on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and I make the
Oh,
motion.
you make the motion?
I make the motion. It's been moved and properly second. Any additional discussion? All those in favor of?
Aye.
Opposed to? Motion passes. I will ask the board attorney to please read the motion to where the clerk can record it.
Resolution of the Hinds County Board of Supervisors of Hinds County, Mississippi, strongly urging continued operation of post office locations in Hinds County, Mississippi. Whereas the Board of Supervisors has become aware of the intent of the United States Postal Service to close certain post office locations within highly populated areas of Hinds County, Mississippi. Whereas the Board of Supervisors of Hinds County, Mississippi strongly urges the continued operation of these post office locations in Hinds County, Mississippi. Whereas the following Hinds County locations have been designated for closure: Candlestick Park Post Office, 820 Cooper Road, Suite A, Jackson, Mississippi; Delta Station Post Office, 550 Melvin Bender Drive, Jackson, Mississippi; Westland Post Office, 905 Ellis Avenue, Jackson, Mississippi; North Jackson Post Office, 440 Northview Drive, Jackson, Mississippi; and Southwest Post Office, 4542 Robinson Road, Jackson, Mississippi. And whereas each post office location has a deep-rooted place in the community it serves, is frequently used, and will detrimentally affect the citizens of Hinds County if closed. And whereas the Board of Supervisors of Hinds County, Mississippi strongly opposes the closure of the above-mentioned post office, as the same would adversely affect the citizens and limit their ability to utilize the services afforded by the United States Postal Service that are of vital importance to the community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Hinds County Board of Supervisors strongly urges the United States Postal Service not to discontinue operations of the following post office locations, and the locations listed. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to the members of the congressional delegation representing the state of Mississippi, seeking their assistance to encourage the United States Postal Service to do all things necessary and appropriate to ensure the continued operation of the subject post office locations in Hinds County, Mississippi. So resolved and ordered. This is 17th day of January 2012. Hinds County Board of Supervisors.
Okay, thank you very much. We will continue with our printed agenda. We will now move to
Mr. President,
Mr. Stokes.
question on your items on number 1. I want to thank you so much for making sure we follow state law. In terms of A, B, C, and D, all these positions will the pleasure for the board. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, now, in terms of item number D, that had a 2-2 tie vote was failed. What does that mean? Does that mean we go later? Is he no longer employed with Hinds County? Somebody need to explain what does that mean?
I have my interpretation, but I'd like to hear from the board attorney.
Well, I believe this issue is unprecedented. Typically, under the personnel policies and procedures, the emergency management director works at the will and pleasure of the board, and until the board has terminated the person in that position, I interpret it to still be filled.
Okay. You have 2 for and 2 against. Okay. Ms. Calhoun.
Let me apologize. I did have to leave the room. And if someone would please recapitulate the vote that was taken, I would appreciate it, because I would like to vote regarding this matter.
Okay. And in order to do that, Ms. Attorney, do we need to rescind any of the previous action, or do we allow her to have her vote on it?
If someone would tell me what the motion.
Motion to reconsider?
No. I want to know what happened, and then I will make a request to reconsider the vote first.
My notes reflect that there was a motion on the floor